Surgery today. Hi everybody, welcome to the webinar. We are so happy that you could join us today. My name is Emily Lakemaker and I'm the Associate Director of Recruitment and Student Life here at the Rollins School of Public Health. And just to provide a few logistics up here at the top, number one, we are recording this, so if you want to go back and watch this, or if you have any friends that you think would be interested and you want to share this with, we'll have this up on our YouTube page, usually within about 3 to 5 business days of the live event. So be sure to check that out if needed. Additionally, we're going to be going through the presentation first and then taking any questions. And in the upper right-hand corner of your screen, you can see where my cursor is. You should see a section titled questions, so feel free to type those in throughout the presentation. Once we're done with the PowerPoint, we'll go through, read them aloud, and our panelists will go through and address them and answer them. A few other things. Unfortunately, 2 of the 3 panelists that were going to be with us today had some last-minute travel and a last-minute family emergency. Well, I guess that's all family emergencies are last minute. I guess none are pre-planned. Come up, but we've got another advisor here with us, and we have a recording of our faculty member that we'll be showing. So we've got you guys covered one way or the other, and we will be able to put you in touch with Ariadne, who is our EH advisor, if you have any additional questions. So with that, I think we're going to go ahead and get started and turn it over to Jenna for introductions, and she can take it from there.
Hi everybody, my name is Jenna Black. I am one of the ADAPs or advisors in the Department of Epidemiology, and I am going to be sharing a little bit about the environmental health curriculum with you today and the different degree programs that are offered.
I'm Tori Traeger, and I'm a second-year EH Epi student. And yeah, I will just be here to give you answer any questions about student life or any organizations here.
And so, as you can see, Jenna is filling in for Ariadne today, and Karen Levy is our professor that was supposed to be on, but had a last-minute travel, which is such the life of a faculty member here at Rollins, or pretty much anywhere, as they're frequently asked to go places to present. So what we're going to do right now for this next section is actually go over to a recording that we have queued up, where we're going to let you guys watch this, and Karen's going to go over just some of the department and I believe some of the curriculum. So let's get this started.
So first I wanted to give an overview of the department. The Department of Environmental Health at Emory, our main overarching theme is that we explore how human health is influenced by our interactions with the environment. And we take a very broad expansive view of what the environment means. So we include everything from chemical and microbial contamination of air, water, and other media, all the way out to other factors, larger distal environmental phenomena such as urban sprawl and climate change. So the faculty of the Environmental Health Department, our goal ultimately with the research that we do and the teaching that we do is to promote a healthy environment for all people. And in our work and interactions with students, our goal is to prepare students to tackle big challenges of the future. So some examples of that would be understanding interactions of exposures with the human genome, projecting impacts of climate and other global changes, land use changes on health impacts, and promoting sustainable stewardship of resources. So for example, ensuring that we have safe air to breathe and water to drink. So, and as I mentioned before, we really do have a unique take on our definition of environmental health in the department, that we really do have an expansive view of the definition of environmental health. There are lots of opportunities for students to get involved in faculty research projects, and I think this is one question that many people have had for me in my interactions with them and emails is, can I get involved with faculty research? Not only can you, we want you to. This is something that most students at some point get involved with some faculty research projects, and many students end up carrying out their theses and with faculty members and publishing the results of their work. So we have a very diverse faculty. On our faculty, we have people who have PhDs and background in environmental health, environmental sciences, environmental engineering, epidemiology, biology, chemistry, medicine, and law. So each of our faculty members, many of them have joint appointments in other units on campus, for example, chemistry. In terms of the research areas, we really have a lot of strength in certain areas, and our strengths, I just want to highlight a few of those. So one is in pesticides and industrial contaminants and environmental epidemiological approaches to understanding the influences of pesticides and industrial contaminants on human health. Another big area of focus for the department is on air pollution and global climate change. And then another focus of the department and faculty members of the department is in water sanitation and hygiene and infectious disease ecology. So, and that's, I'd say, also a strength across the school. So specifically, what do some of those broader research areas focus down on are questions about air and water pollution, infectious disease ecology, pesticides, water sanitation and hygiene, neurologic outcomes, endocrine disruptors, gene-environment interactions, built environment, global climate change. Our faculty are addressing topics, research topics in all of these areas. And lastly, I did just want to mention that not only do we have the research that our core faculty is involved with, we also have strong partnerships with other agencies in the Atlanta area. So the CDC is located right across the street, and at the CDC is located the National Center for Environmental Health, ATSDR, NIOSH. We have connections with Environmental Protection Agency, American Cancer Society, the Georgia Division of Public Health, and Georgia Environmental Protection Division. And so there's lots of opportunities for students to get involved in these more applied settings. And we really value these partnerships and have many people who are affiliated with these organizations have adjunct appointments on our faculty and are very involved in our research. So with that, I'm going to pass it over to Ariadne, and she could.
Okay, we are going to come back to our actual PowerPoint right now. There we go. Make this full screen. And now we'll pass it over to Jenna so she can kind of go into some topics, including new faculty members that we've recently hired.
Sure. Thanks, Emily. So there are 2 new faculty members that have been hired in the Environmental Health Department that Ariadne wanted to point out. The first is Carmen Marcet, and the second is Matt Gribble. You can read about their general interests. I will say that I attended the Rollins School of Public Health Grand Rounds last Friday, and Dr. Marcet presented a fascinating presentation that was very kind of synthesizing different fields and areas with collaborators from a variety of places, and you would be able to view that presentation on the Rollins website. You can look at that.
Oh, real quick, can you tell what grand rounds are?
Sure. So grand rounds, some departments have them. There's also Rollins school-wide grand rounds, and it's an opportunity to bring in speakers from outside of the university or the School of Public Health and within the university and the School of Public Health to present their research. And it's a 1-hour lunch and meeting for any community members. I also wanted to highlight this new award that the Department of Environmental Health just received. It's a $30 million award from NIH, and Emory is going to be the lead organization on a multi-institutional intervention field trial for household air pollution, and it involves multiple countries, and I'm sure there's going to be many opportunities for MPH and MSPH students on this project in the coming months. So just wanting to provide a general overview of the different degrees and programs that are offered in the Department of Environmental Health, the prerequisites for admission. I'll talk briefly about the curriculum, practicums and internship experiences, thesis and capstone, and then Tori is going to talk a little bit about student organizations and student life, and we will have some time for question and answers. So the Department of Environmental Health offers 2 different MPH degrees. There is the Environmental Health MPH degree as well as the Global Environmental Health MPH degree. And the Global Environmental Health, or GEH degree, is about incorporating a global perspective and the environmental health perspective together. There's also an Environmental Health Epidemiology MSPH degree, and that is the degree program that Tori is completing, so she can answer specific questions about that. In addition to the MPH and MSPHs that I've just talked about, there is a 5-year program that's a BS degree in the Environmental Science program in Emory College, and then a 1-year MPH following the 4 years in Emory College. So it's also called a 4+1 program where you get your MPH in the 5th year. There are a variety of partner degrees or partnerships for dual degrees with the Environmental Health MPH. So if you're interested, for example, in doing a dual MD MPH or MBA MPH, the other degrees listed there are those opportunities as well. And then lastly, the Department of Environmental Health offers a PhD in Environmental Health Sciences. There's a link at the bottom of this slide where you can read more about the curriculum in depth. And then just very generally, I wanted to touch upon the foundational skills that you are going to obtain in any of the degree programs offered in environmental health for the MPH and MSPH that are really the foundation of the core requirements of the degree program. And so you will leave your time at Rollins in environmental health knowing about and having skills in hazard recognition and control, risk assessment, environmental policy, epidemiology, toxicology, program implementation and evaluation, and then ecology, demography, and environmental science. Now, because of this coursework and the first semester in environmental health, everybody takes toxicology and hazards. There are prerequisites for admissions consideration, and these are to help with a transition to successful first semester. So everyone who applies is required to do chemistry and biology, and the department strongly recommends the additional courses listed as foundational for success in the science coursework. It is possible, if you are very interested in the program and may have a background that did not include chemistry and biology, that you could reach out to Ariadne Switzenberg or another faculty member in the department to talk about an application and see if they can do anything to say that you can take that coursework prior to enrollment and then verify it's completed. For global environmental health applicants, you also need to have some sort of global health experience or experience in a low resource setting, and typically it's a international experience of some sort. So just to talk generally about the curriculum again, both of the MPH degrees in environmental health and global environmental health are going to require 42 credit hours. The Environmental Health EPI-MSPH program requires 48 credit hours. For the dual degree programs that I spoke about, those are residenced 2 semesters in the School of Public Health and completing 32 credit hours over 2 semesters, and then sharing 10 other credit hours from the dual program in medicine or law, etc. Examples of courses and sample syllabi can be found on the Environmental Health website. The other thing I just wanted to bring up briefly is that Rollins charges a flat rate tuition for full-time enrollment, and both the MPH and MSPH in environmental health are going to be 4 semesters full-time, is what the majority of students are doing. And so there is a flat rate tuition at that full-time enrollment with a minimum of 9 credit hours. So whether you take 9 credit hours or 15 credit hours, you are paying the same tuition. And so though only 42 credit hours are required for the degree, most environmental health students are taking 14 to 15 credit hours a semester. And so you are able to kind of maximize courses and electives both within the environmental health department and outside of the environmental health department to kind of shape your curriculum beyond those foundational courses according to what your interests are. The next thing is practicum, and practicum is something that is going to be similar for any MPH program that you're looking at, as is a culminating experience. And so practicum is a 200 to 400 hour applied experience in the field that can be paid or unpaid. There is a wide range of opportunities available as well as resources that are listed for students to identify practicums. Most of our students are working part-time throughout their degree program alongside coursework, and then in the summer they're working full-time in public health. And so really any work that is practicing out in the field program competencies that you are learning in the classroom and that are related to your career goals are going to be able to count as practicum, and it can be one or more experiences. And then I'm just going to show you some examples that you can read of practicum that are both domestic as well as abroad. And two, I will note that global environmental health students might go abroad for practicum in the summer, as might environmental health students. And so whether you're environmental health or global environmental health doesn't necessarily define whether you're going to be in the U.S. over the summer or outside of the U.S. That there's really opportunities for everyone based on what you're interested in pursuing. Next, I want to talk about the culminating experience. And so the Department of Environmental Health has two options for the MPH program. The EHEPI MSPH program does require a thesis, and the environmental and global environmental health students that are in MPH are going to have the opportunity to either do a thesis, which is typically a research project, or a capstone of some sort. And this is a really nice opportunity to pull together everything that you have learned in the classroom and apply that to a research question or a project. And so sometimes these things can be outgrowths of a practicum experience. Other times it is a separate experience altogether. And Rollins faculty members will serve as advisors for the culminating experience, whether it's a project or a thesis. The students in all the departments and generally in Rollins School of Public Health are very well supported. Ariadne is the advisor for all of the environmental health students, and so she will be doing pre-registration advising and communication with students, helping them identify faculty members and networking opportunities for both practicum, help select either doing a culminating experience or thesis, and is just an all-around resource. You'll also be assigned an EH faculty advisor should you matriculate here, and you'll find out who that is at your orientation. And then the environmental health student government representatives do a program where they assign second-year students to first-year students to welcome them and answer questions and kind of check in throughout the year. Also want to take the opportunity to just note the immense professional resources available through our Office of Career Services. Ariadne has down here that there is a professional mentorship program for first-year students, and I would encourage everybody to avail themselves of that opportunity where you get matched with an alumni or other public health professional who can advise you and make suggestions throughout your time at Rollins. And then lastly, I just wanted to talk about funding opportunities and the variety of them here. Centrally in the school, there are merit scholarships and public health mission-driven scholarships. There are also financial aid awards, so that is based on you submitting a FAFSA to Emory University and the Office of Financial Aid. Part of the financial aid package might include the Rollins Earn and Learn Award, which is similar to work study that you may have had in undergrad. Global Field Experience Awards are linked to those practicums that we talked about, and so there are opportunities for you to write a formal proposal for funds to partially support an experience abroad, and you don't need to be a global student to apply or be awarded those funds. Similarly, there's other opportunities through the Global Health Institute. Ariadne would encourage you to look specifically for environmental health opportunities. So if you just Google things like EPA, master's degree, scholarship opportunities, etc., you might be able to find ones that are relative to you. And you can also send her an email, and her email is going to display in a moment. Okay, now I'm going to turn it over to Tori.
So hi, I'm Tori, and there's a lot of campus organizations that you can become a part of, and there are a ton in the environmental health department, and as an environmental health person, I was really pleased to see that. But of course, you can join any organization you want. I personally am a member of the Rollins Environmental Health Action Committee, and we do a lot around campus involving promoting sustainable lifestyles, recycling. We do events in the city, such as these Bikes and Brews, where we ride our bikes to a brewery and have dinner, and it's great. I have many friends who are part of the Global Safe Wash organization, and yeah, it's just great. It's great to get involved because this is unlike undergrad where you're all living together in dorms and stuff. It can be easy to not meet new people in grad school, and so this is a great place to make friends and be with like-minded people. More student life that's environmental health related, there's just a ton around Atlanta. Atlanta's a beautiful environmental health kind of place, and the school is as well. There's a lot of LEED certified buildings, which makes me happy. There's a lot of gardens. We have this educational garden project. There's about, I think, 7 gardens throughout the school. I think each school has one. Rollins has one itself, and the REHAC people are in charge of it, and we grow so many different things. I'm from the north where we only have one growing season, but here we have spring vegetables and summer vegetables and fall vegetables, and it's just crazy. I also took part in playing intramurals. We have so many different things. I played kickball because I have no sports skills at all, but I still had fun. There's a ton of stuff to do in Atlanta, the Lantern Parade, music festivals. You can just go out and hike. It's beautiful around here. I personally like to go to the Botanical Garden. They have a great orchid population, an orchid exhibit there, which I really enjoy. And since I like bees, I am actually a member of the Atlanta Beekeeping Association, and we have meetings at the Botanical Garden, and I get to go and hang out with bees all the time, and it's great. So there's just a ton of stuff to do that's environmental health related, and of course you don't have to stick with environmental health stuff if you're interested in social justice. We have social justice groups, we have religious groups, we have groups that are based on, like, if you are a Black public health student or a Jewish public health student, of course you don't have to be one of those to be part of those groups, but there's just something for everybody here, and I think that's really great.
So now we'll open it up for questions, and you can see Ariadne's email there on the screen. So if you have any that we aren't able to get to today, or any that may be very specific, then please feel free to send them that way. So we're going to read these questions, and
can you do the first question?
Yeah, so we're going to read these questions and read them aloud and go through and answer as many as we can in the time possible. So please feel free to type these in because we certainly want to take this opportunity to answer all your questions and address any of your concerns. So first up, Tori's asking, for the mission-driven scholarships, where are the links? The website just listed the names. So Tori, the only way, you don't have to fill out any additional applications for any of those. It's based on FAFSA. So hopefully you've already filled out your FAFSA form. And if not, I would recommend stopping what you're doing right this exact minute and going and doing that right now. Because a lot of those funds are basically kind of they're awarded based on need, but also on first come, first serve. So they're going to be looking at the applications that we've already received and admitted and matching those up with the FAFSA forms, and that's how they make those awards. Tori is asking, what is one tip you recommend to increase the success of the program and job security? And the success of the program, I would say reaching out to faculty. Like, don't live in your own little internal bubble. Like, certainly reach out to faculty and take advantage of the resources that we have here.
Yeah, we have a ton of resources here. I personally took part, I think they mentioned this earlier, the career mentorship program has been great. I got matched with a person who wasn't an EH person at all, actually. And it just gave me another perspective, and he's been really helpful in like looking at my resume and looking at my cover letters. And we have a career center on campus that I have gotten some pointers from that have been very useful. I know there's a lot of anguish currently with environmental health students not really knowing where we're going with this current administration in the environmental health field, but there's still so much that we can do that just maybe not necessarily is with the EPA or the CDC.
Yeah.
I will say too that I think a distinctive feature of Rollins is just the number of opportunities to work both in a research setting while a student, as well as opportunities to work with our partnering organizations. And so the fact that students are networking and gaining practical experience from their first semester just sets them up for a very good trajectory. On the environmental health website, there is a link to alumni surveys where we report out by degree program what the statistics are for job placement and what examples of those placements are. And so I would encourage you to take a look at that for all the degree programs at Rollins. That's also posted on the Career Services website.
Mm-hmm. We've got two questions about housing and where graduate students live. So Emory does not offer any grad student housing, but there is a apartment complex about a mile away called Campus Crossing, and they rent exclusively to Emory grad school students, but it's not connected to Emory in terms of paying your room and board through that. It's an actual apartment complex, and a lot of students really like that one because it's fully furnished, so you don't have to bring anything. It's very popular for our international students because generally they're not coming over with piles of furniture like maybe some of our domestic students are. Tori, do you have any insight on how you found your housing and where you live?
There are a ton of, I think, apps even now and websites that are associated with Emory campus or Emory student housing for grad students. I actually found my place off Craigslist, which sounds scary, but it actually turned out really well. I live within walking distance, but there's tons of buses and that can help people get around, and a lot of people drive to school as well. So just kind of Google around, and I think actually if you are admitted, they will give you more information about potential websites that you can use to find housing.
Yeah, and I see another question just popped up about housing, asking the rent. I don't know rent of any of the, there's easily probably 50 apartment complexes in the immediate area of Emory. So obviously, we're not going to know the rent of any of those off the top of our head. But all those rents, I'm sure, are listed on the apartment complex's website. So if you just, kind of Google apartment complexes around Emory. Also, for those of you that have been admitted, you have access to the admitted student portal. On the admitted student portal, we have an entire section dedicated to housing. We list neighborhoods, we list apartment complexes with all the links, we list things to do, places to eat, so how to get around, transportation, parking, all of that. So be sure to check out the admitted student portal because we've put together an extensive list of resources there. Additionally, one thing we haven't mentioned is the event Visit Emory, which is our admitted student event March 30th and 31st. And that's where we invite admitted students onto campus. It's kind of a 2-day extravaganza of panels and meeting your faculty and meeting your department and attending student social events and learning about life as a Rollins student. And during that time, one of our panels is Atlanta housing. We do a panel for that. We provide you a booklet that actually breaks down data that we've collected from our students as to where they live, how much they pay, if they have roommates, how they found their housing, and it highlights some of the apartment complexes as well. And the 2017 version of that you'll get at Visit Emory. We'll also post that to the portal when it's ready. And the 2016 version of that is on the portal now for your reference. So again, you might hear me say that a lot in answering these questions, but we really want to refer you guys back to that area because pretty much all the resources you would need are going to be located there. Payang is asking, how large is the cohort size? Our faculty, also what is the faculty to student ratio?
So it depends on what program you're in. I believe the EH department has around 40 people each year. The EH EPI group is even smaller. My cohort is only 7 people. So by the end of your time here, you'll know everybody in your department, and I think that's really great. And being part of the EH, since we have a smaller group, we get more interaction with faculty. I think some of the larger departments here can have over 100, 200 people in them. So that's something that a lot of EH people have told me they really, really like about the program.
Second question from same student is, when will financial aid information come out for admitted students? That usually comes out in mid to late March. So if you are a domestic student, your financial aid package will be posted there with the information on how much, your loan award, if you've been awarded any of our financial aid, like the Rollins Earn and Learn or any mission-driven scholarships. And if you are an international student, then you would have to just be, you wouldn't be eligible, you would be eligible for some of our mission-driven awards, and that notification would go out then. Actually, no, you wouldn't. I apologize. Let me take that back. The only financial aid that our international students are eligible for are our merit-based awards, which if you applied for, if you got your application in by January 5th, you were automatically considered for those. And for both domestic and international students, our merit-based award information, I think, is going out within the next 2 weeks. But any financial aid information award, like your loans and any other mission-driven awards and Rollins Earn and Learn, will go out at the end of March. And then the final decision to let us know if you're attending Rollins is due by April 15th. So you'll have all of that cumulative information available before making that final decision on when you would be going. Kate is asking, how is the food on campus? So there's a small cafe at the bottom of one of our buildings, but most of our students, since we're graduate students over here, I don't think many of them have like a meal plan.
Yeah, I bring my food to campus, yeah. And if I'm lazy, I'll buy something at the cafe. They have like pizza and pasta and sushi and fruit and cups, grab and go, kind of grab and go stuff. Some people do go and eat more on the undergrad campus because I think they have some actual like restaurant kind of things.
There's a food court over there.
There is a food court. I've never done it before, but I hear tell of people who do.
And as grad students, you can get a meal plan. I just don't think that a lot of ours do that. But over on main campus, I say main campus, and it's not far. I mean, it is literally a 5-minute walk, but we tend to kind of live over here in our 2 Rollins buildings. But it's called Cox Hall, and there's it's a very traditional undergrad style food hall.
And they have a lovely farmers market on Tuesday with delicious prepared food as well.
Yep. Pormpinal is asking, my apologies for butchering anyone's name. I'm sure I'm doing that right now. My sincere apologies. Is asking, hello, when will the fall 2017 applicants start getting admissions decisions? Is it via email, letter, or SOFIS? Thank you. So depending on when you applied, those are already going out, and some of you may have already received that. It can be up to 6 to 8 weeks after you applied. And you will get that, it will be in once you apply and we get your application, you will get a notification from us on how to create your Emory Opus account. And that is where you will, between that and email is where you will receive your admissions notification, your admissions decision. Tori is asking, when do students typically complete their practicum? This summer after their first or second year? Is it a set time or up to the students?
I would say the vast majority of students complete their practicum during the summer just because you're not taking any classes. You have all your time to spend getting those 200 to 400 hours. That being said, some students do their practicum during the school year, either during their first year or their second year. It's a bit harder because you have to fit it around your working and your classes and everything. I don't think you can do it after your second year because you're supposed to have graduated. But pretty much it is up to the student. I set my time. I did it all during the summer, but I have friends who did part of it during the summer and part of it during their second year. I had a friend who started in his first year and completed it in the summer, so it's really up to you.
You just have to, you can't start earning hours towards it until you've completed your first semester.
And there's another practicum question too. Can a student choose his or her destination outside the listed organizations during summer? So for example, countries in Southeast Asia. And really the options are limitless. So there'll certainly be opportunities advertised through the Rollins School of Public Health. The students who receive Global Field Experience funds are always sharing information. There's a variety of fairs and different experiences that are posted. And so you can also kind of go out on your own and form a project or partnership with an organization that can be used as practicum as well.
Yes, I had a friend who just decided, she said, I want to go to Haiti for my practicum and I want to work with this organization, and so she just made it work. So really, it's all up to you. It's as much as you want to do. I did a practicum that was just sort of advertised as being a practicum, and I didn't put too much thought into it.
You have to make sure that it's meeting like both department and
school
requirements, and then you have to find whoever you would be working for in that agency would have to agree to be your practicum field advisor. But none of that. We have plenty of students that secure practicums outside of ones that students have done previously. Kate is asking about parking. If you buy a parking pass, is it hard to find parking in the garage? So when you buy a parking pass, you're going to buy it specifically for a set garage. So most of our students that buy parking have bought it for the Michael Street garage. If they sell out, they will then stop selling parking passes for that garage, and then you will be offered the next closest one. So you can find parking. You may have to park on the very top 7th floor, but I've never not found a spot in there.
And I walk to school, so
yeah.
I've never had a problem with parking.
Yeah, so I think that, I would just recommend as soon as parking opens, I believe they open that up in the summer and maybe early July. We post all those notifications on the admitted student portal and the to-do checklist, and we include that in your regular summer email communications that I'm sure Tori remembers getting regularly from our office. So we'll keep you updated on that when that opens, and so I just recommend doing that sooner than later because it will sell out. But that's good news for people who get it because then they know they'll get a spot on the deck. Tori's asking, I noticed there was a fee for health insurance. Is this required? Carrying some type of health insurance is required. If you can prove that you have it from your own provider, or if you're still being carried under your parents, then you don't have to purchase the Emory one. But if you don't have any other type of health insurance, you do have to purchase the one under Emory's plan, which I believe is $1,500.
I think the school insurance ends up being around $3,000.
Yeah, so $1,500 a semester, something along those lines. All right, Sierra's asking, is there a winter session of classes, or do students get a winter break? If so, how long is the time in between semesters? It's about 3 weeks.
Yeah, so finals will be over the second week in December, and then classes typically start the second week in January. There are opportunities to take classes in the preterm, which is a week before the traditional spring semester starts. It's optional. The tuition for those classes is included in your spring tuition, and it's really a nice opportunity to focus specifically on a topic that might interest you. I know a very popular environmental health course offered during that time is environmental microbiology, control of food and waterborne diseases. Tori, did you take that?
I personally did not take that class, but it seems like everybody else I know did take that class, and they all loved it.
Yeah. All right, Christian is saying, Emory's affiliations with the CDC was very influential in my decision to apply to the program. Are there practicum opportunities to work with the CDC? I have experience working in a government public health agency and am ultimately looking to gain employment with the CDC.
Yes, you can work at the CDC with your real position. It's really easy because you just walk across the street and you're there. And over the summer, my practicum was at the ATSDR, which is part of the CDC. So it's really easy to get involved with the CDC, and it definitely played a role in my decision to come here as well.
And we have about 800 alumni currently employed at the CDC. So it's hard to go over there and not find a Rollins person. And what that basically means for you is that when they're looking to hire, they generally want to hire other Rollins people because they know of the quality of the education and they know what they're getting with that. Tori's asking, how is the work/stress load? How many hours a week would we commit? How many hours a week should we commit a week outside of class? I'll let Tori handle that as the current student.
Well, my program is the EHFE program, so I have different requirements than just the EH people. I take a lot more EPI classes. Of course, EH people can take EPI classes if they want to, but I'm required to, so even the ones that I don't want to take, I have to take. It all depends on what your classes are. Some semesters are easier than others. This one seems to be okay so far. Oh man, that's a good question. You will spend a lot of time outside of class. You will spend a lot of time coming into the computer lab. You will spend your weekends in the computer lab with everybody else, so there's a lot of camaraderie. But yeah, this isn't a walk in the park.
No, but I would, and I would also say to that point, and Tori talked a lot about some of the organizations she's involved with. I can't think of a student that I know that just goes to class.
Oh yeah, I mean, I say that, I'm trying not to be a downer. I go to class, I do my homework, but I'm also involved in organizations. I work 10 to 12 hours a week. I have a social life. I go to bed at a normal time and I wake up at a normal time. So I'm a stressful person, but I still have managed to survive. And so I think anybody can if I can.
I think it's about time management. But again, I mean, it's pretty, you just have to kind of know what your priorities are and know what works best for you. All right, Porn Panal is asking, if students would like to take extra classes in other departments or universities, will that be an additional fee or already included in the flat rate tuition? So to answer that question is that it is included. So Emory has a flat rate tuition, which I guess we didn't, did we not? I guess we didn't talk about the flat rate tuition.
I did.
Oh, we did? Okay, good. I'm sorry, Jenna. I must have zoned out during that time. But we do have a flat rate, so that means that if you're taking anything over 9 hours this is cost the same, whether you're taking 9 or 19. But please don't take 19 hours as a graduate student. That's all we ask of you. So you could certainly take classes in the law school, business school, nursing school. Once a registration opens and their students have registered for classes, any open spots, our students get the opportunity, and it's kind of vice versa.
So I'm just trying to think out loud from my experience with EPI students. Some of them who take classes outside of public health, there's a Spanish for healthcare professionals that's offered in the nursing school that's popular. We have some students who might be applying to medical school who want to finish off a science prerequisite in Emory College. And then there'll certainly be students who are taking courses like public health law, for example.
Yeah, and the EH department, you will have to take an environmental policy class, which actually has been really fascinating for me. And if you're interested in that kind of thing, you also can take policy classes on campus.
So that looks to be it for the questions. So we're really happy that you could have joined us today. Panelists, do you guys have any parting wise words?
I would just say come to visit Emory and make sure that you come to visit the school if you haven't yet applied and were admitted. The environmental health department is really a small town within a small town in the best way possible. And so I would encourage you to come and talk with Ariadne and get a tour of the school and meet with some current students.
Yeah. And for those of you that are thinking about coming to visit Emory, those of you that have been admitted, we do offer travel grants. So please email me. You can email me directly about that. Emily, EMILY.lakemaker, LAKEMAKER @emory.edu. Also, you'll notice in the registration section of Visit Emory on the portal, we do have an area for you to sign up to be stay with a current student. So that can help cut down on the cost as well. If you get the travel grant and stay with a current student, we really do what we can to help cut down costs and remove cost as a barrier for you being able to come. We think it's that important that you come. So with that, I guess we'll sign off. Thank you guys so much for attending, and we hope that we helped answer your questions. And feel free to reach out. You can see Ariadne's email there at the bottom. She'll be more than happy to help connect you with any of us if needed and answer any of your questions. Thank you.